Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and today it is Thursday, and so far this week I've just been doing something that I probably should have done quite a while ago, which is to plan out every single little detail of Equilinox and every single tiny thing that I still have to do between now and the release of the game. And obviously I'd planned out stuff before and I knew the general sort of stuff that I'd be implementing, and I had a rough idea of which species I was going to add into the game. But for the first 3 days of this week, I wanted to sit down and really plan out every single species that I'd add into the game, exactly what their abilities would be, exactly how they were going to interact with the world and each other. And that's what I did. So I now have all the breeding trees planned out. I now know every single species that I'm going to add. I now know all the models that I still need to add. I know all the features that I'm going to have to implement into the entity system. So I now just have a much better idea of what I've still got to do between now and the release of the game, which should hopefully make progress a little bit easier over the next few weeks. And today I'm just going to get started by making some new models for the animals. First model of the day is now done, and hopefully you can tell that this is meant to be a wolf. I did actually use an image off the internet for this one to use as a guide for the body shape, so a little bit cheaty, but it still turned out pretty well and I'm fairly happy with it. Just finished work on the next model for today, which is this wild boar, which is looking pretty cute. And this animal is actually going to be able to dig stuff up in the game, so it'll be able to dig up root vegetables, which other animals would then be able to eat. It is 4 o'clock now, and as you can see I've just made a couple of insect models, one butterfly and one bee, obviously extremely low poly models for them. And I have just started working on a deer model, which you can see here, and I'm just using this image here as a guide to create the body shape. As you can see, the deer model is now finished and looking pretty nice, and next up I'm just going to create a stag model, because obviously I can basically just use the same model as the deer, but with a few alterations. And then after that I think I'll move on to programming for the rest of the evening. It is 6:30 in the evening now, and I think I'm pretty much done with modelling for today. As you can see, the stag here, this was the last one that I did, pretty much the same as the deer model, just with slightly different proportions, and obviously the antlers as well. So I'm going to stop for some dinner now and have a bit of a rest, and then later this evening I will start work on some programming. I didn't actually get any more programming done today, but I have been planning out a new system that I'm going to be implementing tomorrow, which is going to be about upgrading your species behavior to make them better and stronger and faster or more productive and other stuff like that. So you're actually going to be able to pay DP to improve your species, and I've just been planning out the UI for that, and I've also just created the icon for the upgrades tab. It is 8 o'clock on a very sunny Friday morning. It's a very nice day today. And today I'm just going to be implementing the UI for the upgrade system. So first up today, I finished off the icon for the upgrades, and I created an upgrade tab in the species information GUI, which you can see here. And this is where all of the UI for the upgrades is going to be. Just been finalizing my designs for the new upgrades UI, which is going to look something like this. And always before I implement any UI into the game, I always have a go at designing it in GIMP first. Just because it's much easier to drag things around and try out different designs. But I'm pretty happy with this design now, so I'm going to get started with implementing it into the game. It is 1:30 in the afternoon now, and I'm just having my usual lunchtime salad. And as you can see, I did make a start on the new UI for the upgrades, although obviously a long way to go yet. It took a little while to get started because I wanted to do a bit of planning for how the actual upgrade system itself was going to work, not just the UI. But the actual implementation and mechanics of the system. And then once I'd done that, I created an upgrade class, and then I started work on the UI, which can display and edit those upgrades. So this afternoon I've just been doing some more work on the new UI for the upgrades. So you can see it here. Each of these is one upgrade, and then these different icons represent different tiers of that upgrade. So for example, for the increasing speed, there are 3 tiers, and obviously the higher tiers will increase the speed even more. And the blue ones are the ones that you've already unlocked, and the grey ones are the ones that you can purchase. So obviously a lot of these icons are just placeholders, and so is most of the text, but you can now click on a tier of an upgrade to get information about that tier, and there will also be a button here which will allow you to purchase that tier if you haven't already. So still quite a bit of work to do on that, but I'm just going to take a quick break from it to make some more models now. It is 5 o'clock in the evening now, and as you can see, I've just finished creating these two new little models for Equilinox. So obviously there's the lizard model, which you saw me making, and I've also just very quickly made this guinea pig model, which doesn't look like much close up, but you have to remember that it's going to appear pretty small in the world, so it didn't need to be too detailed. So I had a bit of a change of heart about the design for the upgrades interface. So now instead of having one button for each tier, you now just have one button for each upgrade, and then clicking on that brings up the information about the upgrades, and this will just have one button here that will say upgrade, and clicking on that will simply unlock the next tier for that particular upgrade, and obviously these green arrows indicate which tiers you currently have unlocked. It is coming up to 9 o'clock now, and I'm just having a bit of dinner, which today is an omelette and some roasted vegetables. And I've also done a bit more work on the new UI. I wanted to quickly implement this upgrade button so that I could show you the general idea of how this is all going to work. It's still very much a work in progress though. It's barely even halfway done at this stage, so don't read too much into how it looks at the moment. But basically you can now click on any of these upgrades to bring up information about it. And also there is now this upgrade button, and clicking on this obviously costs some DP, but when you click on it, it will upgrade that particular modifier to the next tier. So you can see that I can keep doing that until I've reached the highest tier for that modifier. Good morning everyone, it is Saturday morning, and this morning I'm just going to be editing together this week's behind the scenes devlog video, because this afternoon I'm heading off to Wolfsburg and I'm going to be spending the rest of the weekend there. So that's going to be pretty much it for Equilinox development this week. Next week I'm obviously going to be finishing off the upgrade system, and I've also got a couple of other fairly big features planned which I want to implement, which should hopefully make Equilinox feel a bit more like a game rather than just a simulation or a world builder tool. So that will be nice. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this week. If you didn't see last week's behind the scenes devlog video and you're wondering why there haven't been any tutorials recently, it's because I'm currently working on some animation tutorials which are a little bit more complex than the usual tutorials, so they're taking a little bit longer, but they should only be a few more weeks. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.